Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I am Denny Moss and I will be your new favorite respiratory therapist from here on out. I'm normally a lifestyle vlogger and I was going through my analytics and my analytics said people come to my channel to see respiratory therapy, right? I was like, well, that's weird because I only did like 2 shorts and I hashtag respiratory therapy. But let me try that out. So I actually tried it out and guess what? 1.3K of y'all came and checked out my channel. And not only did y'all check it out, y'all were like super engaging. I'm at home. Last time I was at a cabin in the woods or in the forest or whatever it is, and it was so peaceful and serene. But now I'm back at home, so that means y'all are going to hear all 3 of my dogs running up and down of my house barking. Before we get officially started with this Q&A, which will be my second one this year, I am going to definitely make more content. I'm literally like batched a whole bunch of Q&A and made a lot of respiratory content, like just organize it and I can put it out for y'all because y'all are enjoying the content and I'm so happy about that. Like, I was like, wow, the analytics were really correct. So if y'all have a YouTube channel, because I know a lot of y'all do, please check out y'all analytics because it is really legit. But this Q&A today is about the most intense part of my job, which is a cold blue. Nobody really talks about cold blues besides the fact that y'all are going to see like on TVs like Grey's Anatomy, because I grew up in that era. Or if you're a little bit older, ER, y'all remember that? ER. Or not so funny, but super funny, Scrubs. Y'all remember that? I grew up in Grey's Anatomy and Scrubs. I think when I was doing Grey's Anatomy, I was just starting out with respiratory therapy. And it was cool until I started working. And then it wasn't so cool because it felt like I was at work and all the terms and lingo, it was just too much. But we're going to talk about the intensity of being a respiratory therapist in a cold. First question that I came up with is, what is a cold blue and what do respiratory have to do in this situation? Okay, it is a loaded question, but it's the most important question. So respiratory arrest, meaning you're not breathing at all. Cardiac arrest, meaning your heart's not pumping at all. You're not getting no circulation. Nothing is going anywhere. So you're just completely unalived, right? So that's what it is. What we do is we basically make sure the airway is stabilized. That is the first thing that anybody should do when they train for ACLS, BLS. You're taught to stabilize the airway, maintain an airway, secure the airway. Those are all terms you need to make sure you're doing your job. I think the most important thing is when you call a cold blue, always stay calm. Because if you overthink and if you're overstimulated, you will not be able to save this patient's life. The thing is to stay calm, make sure you got everything you need to stabilize, secure, and maintain their airway. That's the first thing you do as a respiratory therapist, and that is the biggest thing you do as a respiratory therapist. So going into a cold blue, I'm gonna make sure that I have a bag and a mask. If it's not in the crash cart, make sure that you always know where your bag and mask is. We always keep them at our facility where anybody can see it. Like we'll have it hanging up on the outside of a patient's door if we need to. The important thing is suction. Make sure you know where your suction is. That is basic. You're also preparing for intubation. For instance, you get to the code, you're able to stabilize the patient, which is manually ventilation with a bag and a mask. But say for instance, you don't. We don't know if the patient's gonna pull through or not. So you need another RT who's there. And if it's not, a nurse can also take on, we do have ACLS people around, so a nurse can take on the bag and mask. Just make sure that that person is doing appropriately while you are preparing for intubation, because intubation 9 times out of 10 will be the next best thing, because you want to maintain, secure, and make sure your airways are patent. That's the goal in a code blue. Maintain that airway. Manually ventilate if needed. And please, 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 please prepare for intubation. Before we take it to the next question, I do want to say that I'm also speaking from a place of a controlled environment. Like, I work at a facility at a hospital, so it's super controlled. We have everything we need. But like, if you're out there, like just walking the streets, or you drive past a car crash, which I have done in Houston. Oh yeah, I live in Houston, Texas, by the way. That I have done in Houston more than a few times. That preparedness with taking the ACLS and BLS classes, that will get you through some of the times where you're not in a controlled environment. But one thing I do like to preach, I know I just said it, but stay calm. Respiratory therapists are known for their calm demeanor. Like, it could be 1,000 things going on. Matter of fact, it is 1,000 things going off. It's alarms blaring, people are running, it's 1,000 people in the room, and you'll have your RT back there just calm. They be like, where's respiratory? You'll be right head of the bed. I kid y'all not. Head of the bed, securing the airway. I kid y'all not. And they will scream, where's respiratory? We're right here. Like, why isn't respiratory like so calm? Why is respiratory so calm? That's what they all ask. Because this is like what we do. This is our bread and butter. We all like to stay calm and secure airway. Like, it's like so important. Like, this is all we do. Okay, for the second question, which is, y'all have my laptop here. Like, the first time I don't know if I told y'all, but the first time we was in the forest, this time we're not. We're in my house. It is a lot going on. I have 3 pups, and people run with their dogs outside of my neighborhood, and my dogs go crazy. So I just want to tell y'all that. But the second question is, look, I'm prepared. Do RTs intubate? Again, I work at a facility that is a teaching facility. So 9 times out of 10, we don't intubate. But you will experience so many intubations if you work in a level 1 trauma facility like I do. You will experience so many intubations that when you need to intubate, you will be so successful. I'm going to talk about the time that I had to intubate, and it was during COVID, y'all. And I'm talking about April 2020 COVID, and it was me and 2 other RTs in the room and 1 nurse. There was no physician. They would not come in the rooms. They were all terrified of catching the coronavirus. So, you know, we were in there, and I was like, well, who's intubating? They were like, are you respiratory? I'm like, yeah, I'm respiratory, but normally the physicians where I'm from, you know, I've been there my whole profession. I'm like, normally they intubate. They was like, well, now it's your turn. So I had my successful intubation during COVID, and it was like one of the calmest codes, because like I said, it was 3 RTs, 1 RN, and I think she was a med-surg RN, and she was amazing. We pretty much told her what to do. The physician was out there looking and making sure we was calling out everything to him, and it went smooth. So yeah, I feel like we don't intubate because the facility that I'm at, that's just the culture of it, because I'm at a teaching facility. But I do know a lot of respiratory therapists, especially in the Houston, Texas area, they do intubate. And the one thing you want to do when you are preparing for intubation, because you may or may not intubate, is everything may not be in your intubation box. Like, the last time I had an intubation, it was a few things missing, and we had to improvise, y'all. Like, I think we were missing a ETAD, a anchor fast. We call it ETAD, anchor fast. We had to tape. But because the experience I have with taping during COVID and proning patients, and you can't use that anchor fast because it caused so much breakdown, we pretty much tape the patient. So always be prepared to be not prepared, if that makes sense. So like, if you have a box, some things may come in it, but some things may not. So you may want to just keep a level head, stay focused, and be prepared to not be prepared. Just to jot out some things, if you are in respiratory school, what are some things, just to keep y'all engaged, what are some things that you know you need besides a bag, a mask, a tube? You probably need a syringe, and it's a few more things that I won't say, but if y'all know the answers, please put them in the comments below, and that way we can keep this community engaging and growing. So it's a few things you need besides a bag, a mask, a tube, a syringe. Come on, put the rest down there, y'all. Let me know. Okay, we're on question number 3. I think we're moving along pretty good. If y'all see my camera moving, I do have a AI tracker that is connected, so you might see some glasses and some stuff on my desk. I use every space in my room, so I'm gonna try to stop this tracker so y'all can just kind of focus, and I can focus too. But we're on question number 3, which is, what's the scariest part for an RT? Honestly, it's when you're doing everything you can possibly do and nothing is working. Like, the patient is still arrested, like completely arrested. I think that's the scariest part of the job. Like, you're bagging the patient appropriately, but the numbers, the SpO2 is not going up. The bagging is easy, but the patient keeps vomiting, and just it's so many things that is scary to me. But I think what I call a scary part is not knowing if the code is going to be successful after you're giving it all you got. And what I call a successful code is somebody who is at bare minimum stabilized. So I would like for my patients to be stable. I feel like that is the scariest part, not knowing. Like, you're going into this code hoping you can save this life. It's like, I don't know, it's like going to the Super Bowl and you're giving it all you got. You know you the best and you deserve to win, but like, my wins come from my patients being stable and walking out alive. So I feel like that's the scariest, the unknown, if the patient is not going to make it. And I'm very spiritual, so I still pray, and I think that's why I be so calm during codes, because I'm praying while I'm getting everything, my life together, while the patient life is in my hands. So yeah, that's the scariest part of being a respiratory therapist. Question number 4 is, how do you keep calm when everybody else is panicking? I think everybody asks us that. I think that's the thing. And I talked about it, my last few questions is, what do I do to stop from panicking? As crazy as it sounds, I focus on my breathing and I stay in my head, so that way I can focus on my patient's breathing. And I think most of it is because I'm so spiritual. I'm praying for the patient and their family, and to be honest, everybody in the room, because it's a very traumatic experience. I'm laughing because that's how I deal with trauma, and I think a lot of my peers do too. But it's a very traumatic experience going into healthcare and having someone else's life in your hands. So I think the best thing is to keep calm, and the best thing is to focus on my breathing and make sure I am praying for the patient, the family, and everybody in the room, because it grounds me. Like, find who you are mentally with any job. That should be your purpose, is focusing on what grounds you and what keeps you from panicking. I think that's like a life experience and a life hack. Find your mental stability and take it everywhere with you, because why not? Y'all see the times we living in. The 5th question is, what's the funniest or the strangest code blue moment? I have more than a few, but I do want to talk about my experience during COVID. So we were all in on this patient for about, this was our 2nd round, because at that point we couldn't do too many rounds because it was so early in COVID, and just ethically, we had to concern ourselves with our patients and our safety. So I think at one point they were like, oh, y'all can't do anything but 1 round of CPR or 2 rounds. I think we was given all we possibly could, because we was just like, I was working with the Navy at the time. So one of the strangest moments was we was given all we got with this patient, and this patient woke up. And when the patient woke up, the patient didn't look like they was in cardiac arrest or respiratory distress. I kid y'all not. This patient woke up glowing, completely glowing. And I was like, oh my God. I think we were all pretty much taken back, but I was just like, oh my God, you just died. And he was like, what? He was like, we was like, you just died. He was like, that was real? And I'm like, what was real? And he was just telling me that for about an hour, he was with his dad and his grandfather, and they looked so good. And they was like, well, you can't stay here with us. You have to go and serve a purpose. And he was like, what are you talking about? What purpose? And he woke up. But I'm like, sir, that was no more than 5 to 10 minutes. Okay? Like, what? That was like the strangest thing. So that just secured my faith. I have goosebumps. I don't think y'all can see it, but I have goosebumps talking about it, because I never experienced anybody wake up from a cold blue looking like they had 10 hours worth of skincare done last night. I kid y'all not. I cannot make this up. But that was like the strangest yet humbling experience I ever went through during an intense situation of a cold blue. So I hope y'all have good experiences, but that one was a lot. So the next question is, I think this is question number 6. Yeah. Do RTs call time of death? Absolutely not. We do not control the time of death. Like, if the physician's there, the physicians pretty much control the time of death. But what will happen is, before the physician calls the time of death, they will ask us, do anybody have any recommendations on what we can do to what we missed, or is it anything else that we can do, or do you feel like we missed anything as far as the rounds that we did, as anything, any single thing. So after we say no, we pretty much did all we can do, that's when a physician called the time of death. So no, we don't call the time of death. Okay, this question is so personal to me, but it is a very good question, and we're on question number 7. It says, how do you personally handle cold blue stress? Woo! I think I'm gonna make this a 2-part, okay? Because y'all know I started respiratory pre-pandemic. So pre-pandemic, I probably had like maybe 1 or 2 unsuccessful cold blues, where unsuccessful mean we did not get the patient back to being alive. So I would say that was nothing, because like, you would go in and you know you were there to save lives, and sometimes it was unsuccessful. So like I said, I would pray for myself, I would pray for the patients, the family members, and everybody in the room. And you know, and after death too, because I stay in the room. You know, sometimes we intubate, we're the last people to leave and the first people to come. So normally we're the last people to leave. So I would stay in and I would pray for the patient. So that was just like my calming and my way to reduce stress. Now during the pandemic, that was difficult, because I went from maybe 1 or 2 a month to like 12 a day. And when I tell you, that really kicked all my stress in, y'all. I had gray hair. I gained like 50 pounds. Like, those patients came home with me. I remembered everybody's face, everybody's name. It was just sticking to me, and I couldn't figure out why. The reason was I had PTSD. And I found that out because I went to therapy, and that helped me tremendously. Therapy helped me with my career. I had no idea what post-traumatic stress was. I had no idea what anxiety felt like or meant. Like, I was just oblivious to it. And yeah, I think I was like 9 or 10 years in the game. I don't know. It was up there when the pandemic started. So yeah, that was difficult for me. So I found happiness in travel, which I traveled all the time. My 30s, all I did was travel. That's why I don't work. That's why I didn't work full time. So I found stress in therapy, which I really, really enjoy. I think I did therapy for like 2.5 years. It was amazing. If y'all don't do therapy, y'all are missing out. So therapy was one. I also traveled. I spent a lot of time in Hawaii. I spent months in Hawaii after the pandemic. And Hawaii is very healing. I don't know if y'all been. Please go to Hawaii. The Big Island is so healing. It's so therapeutic. I found myself there and I did therapy there. And I work out. I enjoy working out still to this day. That helps with stress. That's how I relieve a lot of stress. And I live life with no regrets. I say what I have to say very lovingly. I don't ponder on a lot of things. I treat people with kindness. And I give a lot of people grace. More grace than I give myself. I notice like a lot of people don't give people grace. And I feel like that's because they don't give themselves grace. But I'm learning to do that still actively. And I give myself grace. Like, hey, sometimes you're not going to save them all. And sometimes this is your job. This is why you're here. And this is why you're doing what you're doing. And just keep going and live life with no regrets. Now, this is a good question because I love this. I love this. I love this. Y'all can tell I'm so excited. The question number 8 says, what's one mistake you see RTs during a cold blue? Not me not saying the question right. It says, what's one mistake you see new RTs making during a cold blue? And I would say freezing up. Y'all know what y'all doing? Y'all have trained for this moment. Okay? Do not freeze up. Remember to breathe. Your job is to breathe and your job is breathing. Okay? That's so crazy. I just be coming up with stupid stuff. But it makes sense, right? So I see a lot of people freezing up. It's kind of overwhelming. It's people screaming this and getting orders and can you run this ABG? Is the vent here? Or like it's just so much pressure, but move with a purpose. You are moving with a purpose. You have decided to do this job because you know you're going to be good at it and you know you're going to love it. But one thing I will tell my new RTs is to relax, and your senior RTs definitely have your back. So don't freeze up. And if you do, just be like, hey, come on. We got you. We got you. Look, my lips are so dry, y'all. I had to come back. But this is a really, really good question. The question is, what's the best way to earn respect in a cold blue as a RT? Now, y'all know I'm all about respect. And we get shitted on sometimes. Like, they blame respiratory for everything. The patient could hurt their toe, they're gonna blame respiratory. The doctor is upset because he wasn't prepared, they're gonna blame respiratory. Respiratory is like the red-headed stepchild, but at my facility it's less. It's more so less. Let me tell you why. The respiratory therapists at my facility show up ready, they show up prepared, and they show up with confidence, okay? And they are, let me tell you, a nurse and a doctor are going to remember a RT that shows up ready, prepared, and confident, okay? That's with anything in life, but definitely as a respiratory therapist, because you know for a fact if you're getting into this field, you are treated like a redhead stepchild. And we ain't gonna have that. We need to nip that in the bud, okay? This is your elder RT telling y'all, nip that in the bud. And that's how you nip it in the bud. You show up prepared, ready, and confident. I'm telling you, it works every time. So it doesn't matter where you go and how you work, how you move, they will respect you when you show up with those 3 things. I'm telling you, it's not hard. They're going to love you. And sometimes, just sometimes, they're going to ask you to do things that if another RT is there and they're not used to that RT being there, they will overstep that boundary by saying, hey, Niecy or Denny, because they call me so many things. My name is really Denny. They call me Niecy, and that's a whole different story. I got to tell y'all for another time. I'll probably tell y'all after this why I have so many names. But they'll be like, oh, Denny, can you do this when I'm not assigned to that patient? I'll say, no, but let me get the RT who can do it because they are not, they're pushing that boundary is in, I trust you more because I know you always show up ready, prepared, and just confident. But I would love if the new RT or the RT that they don't know is there, and I try not to step on another RT toes by saying yes. Sometimes I'll call because most RTs are pretty much laid back. I'll be like, hey, do you want me to bronch your patient? The doctor, I know this is your patient, but do you mind if I bronch with him? We just have a good time together, and you know, da 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 da. They'll say yes, or you'll have an RT who will be like, no, I'm doing it because I know he likes you more, but I want to show them that, you know what, I'm likable too, and I know my stuff too, and I'm confident, and I know what I'm doing. So I think that's respected anything, but definitely respiratory. Now that I'm in law school, I feel like I'm more confident in any light now. So even more than respiratory, like respiratory I've been doing forever. So it's just like, yeah, let's do this, or yeah, I know that, or yeah, I've heard about that. And they can ask me questions of like, what do you think about this? But now that I am in a different path in my life with law, y'all, the confidence is just skyrocketing. But don't get it twisted, I'm still very teachable and I still love to learn. So yeah, I would say that's how you earn respect as a respiratory therapist. So the last question I have, the very last one, I'm gonna miss y'all, but I'll be back next week. But this is question number 10. It said, what advice would you give new RTs facing their first cold blue? And I wrote this down. I said, breathe. Literally breathe. If you're panicking, your patient will too. It's energy. It's energy. The second one is find your role fast. Are you bagging? Are you suctioning? Are you setting up the vent? Are you like, you have to find your role. It may be another RT there in the room already, so help them. Or if it's a second RT there and you show up as a third, make sure you go get the equipment that they need, or if they need it. We call that the biatch. I love being that because baby, I'll be running, move out of the way. But find your role fast. And the third is trust your training. You are very smart. You're doing cardiovascular anatomy, and it's just like you have to have some type of knowledge, some type of intellect to even go through training, because respiratory is so hard. I tell people right now, they be like, how's law school compared to respiratory? I don't compare respiratory to anything. Respiratory was hard. Respiratory dragged me. School dragged me from the back of my neck all the way through Texas, all up and down Texas. Y'all know how big Texas is? Yeah. So trust your training. The chaos is loud, but your skills are louder. So make sure that you are breathing and you're calm, relaxed. Make sure you find your role and find it fast, and trust your training. You are going to be an amazing RT, and they're gonna love you. Like, girl, what? Boy, what? Let's go. You're a respiratory therapist now. So I just want to say thank you for watching my video, and I hope as time progresses we get to learn each other on this community and this platform. And I also want to say, if you want me to dive deeper into ventilators, let me know that. Just some crazy stories, or maybe myth busting episodes, or just wild things that people think we do. Either way, hit me with a like, hit me with a comment, and subscribe to my channel, because now I'm just here to motivate y'all to either go to respiratory school or stay in respiratory school. Stay in respiratory school, guys. It is so worth it. I know it's hard. I know it's hard. Let me tell y'all, I know it's hard. This is coming from a now law student who's in her last year. So if you could do respiratory, you can do anything. This is like one of the best career paths that I ever chose. Will I tell people to do it again? Absolutely. I'll be like, respiratory is number 1 and radiology is number 2. Do those. Like, those are your bread and butter. But I love respiratory therapy. I have a passion for it, and clearly y'all like my video because y'all came to watch it, and I'm just so overwhelmed with joy. But I'm gonna learn to breathe. So I'll see y'all later. Please engage Oh wait, I'm gonna see if it's any comments that I can read out to y'all. Just give me a second. Oh, while I look this up, I could be telling y'all why I have so many names. So first and foremost, I started Respiratory and I looked 12. Okay, look, this is me with no makeup on, no lashes, no nothing. So imagine me at 21. Could y'all imagine me at 21, 22? I don't think y'all can. I looked like I was 12. So if y'all have this problem, if y'all are new RTs that are starting straight out of high school, going straight to college, always let people know that, yeah, I may look young, but the question is, because they used to ask me, are you old enough for this? I said, old enough or qualified? That'll shut a lot of people up. But anyway, so I'm on this video.
Didn't want to.
And I'm going to the things, but I changed my name because I did get like a stalker at my facility, and the state of Texas allows you to change your first name. So I did, but you have to keep your last name. And at that point, we had our last names on our badge. So I changed my name on my badge because I had a stalker, and it was a big thing. Like HR called me into the office and was letting me know, and I was really shook about it. But you know, their legal department was like, if you need anything, let us know. Girl, it was boy, it was a mess. Respiratory, it was a mess. So that's why I changed my name. But I'm gonna tell y'all one of these comments that stood out besides everybody saying thank you so much for this video. And I think her name is Jabray. Beautiful Truth Talk. She said, I'm soon to be 54, thinking about this, do not think. We have, let me tell y'all, we have scholars that come to our facility, and they are let me tell y'all, one was 56. I met him this week, Thursday. Today is Saturday, and I was so amazed. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, hell yeah. So Beautiful Truth Talk, you're 54, baby, do it. Okay, well, the way the economy set up, girl, we might be working till we 70. So 70, no, my mom's 72 and she's having a ball. She's still working. My mom is an accountant. So yeah, keep going. And then Joyful Soul, she always watches my videos and my vlogs. I just love her. She says, such a good and informative video. There's nothing better than enjoying what you do for a living. It's super peaceful. It is. So find something you love. Respiratory may be your thing, or you may be going into for something else. But a lot of people stay in it. A lot of people do. Like, I had a friend that went to law school, graduated with his law degree, and he still does respiratory. So am I going to give up my license? No. I worked too hard for it. No. Somebody named Shania Robinson. She was like, 18 years. You look amazing. Thank you, girl. Thank you. I'm just going over some comments. So like every video, I'm going to try to go over the comments just to shout y'all out. And then Miggy Elito Romeo, he said, just got accepted into respiratory school. He's super excited. That is so good. That's good news. And then let me go over some more. I keep on accidentally, y'all know me and Mac don't get along. I think her name is Serenity. I don't know, girl, but she said she here for the content. Me too. And then somebody else named Crafts and Chapters with Monique. She said, I've been thinking about starting a lifestyle as a pediatric transport RRT. It's so sad no one vlogs about us. I literally don't see any content. Girl, you about to get all the content. Let me tell you, we do pediatric life flight as well. And those people get on those planes, but y'all know what? I cut up the last time. I cut up. Look, the last time they was like, they was like, Nisi, you have to do life flight. And I was like, I'm 6 feet tall and wearing that high stuff. I say, this is the first thing that came out of my mouth. Is there a pay raise? You know that they told me no. I said no. I'm not getting balled up on that helicopter. No, I'm not getting on there with that hot suit. I'm not being balled up. And then I have to save lives. And no. So crafts in chapter 7 with Monique. Girl, come on. We need you. Because you have people like Denny Moss that is not getting on no helicopter. But we do life flight. We do go in the air. And it is busy. It is really, really busy. And sometimes you travel with nitric and all that good stuff. And what she said, is she oh yeah, pediatric transport. So yeah, just get into it, Monique. We need you. We're so glad. And then somebody said, I'm late to this video, but thank you so much for this post. There isn't a lot of content about respiratory therapists. I'm waiting back. Oh my gosh, Charlene Lopez. Girl, I hope you got in. Because let me tell you, when I was back in 2004, 5, I didn't know I was going to go to respiratory, okay? But let me tell you, it was so easy to get in. I think they accepted like 20 people in our program. I applied in 2007. It was so many people got accepted into our program, like 20. Do you know how many graduated? 13. So it's easy to get in. It's hard to stay in, but because it's so respiratory isn't easy. So y'all keep y'all head up, focus. This is something we need this for the people. We need this for the RTs. So I'll see y'all later. Bye.